Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to learn how to run Meta's latest large language model Llama 3 locally to write our icebreaker message for our outreach efforts. We are going to use Llama to run local Llama 3. Llama is a tool designed for managing and running large language models on a local machine. You can check the directory of available models in the homepage. We are going to use the Llama 3 model. This model will require downloading more than 4 gigabytes of data onto your machine, which will then be cached for later use. The download will occur once at the start of a flow run. To create an icebreaker message for a prospect, we will utilize their profile information from LinkedIn. We can create our icebreaker message using the About section by supplying this information together with a prompt to the LLM. To retrieve the data in the profile page's About section, we must first log into LinkedIn within our automation flow. Let's begin by adding an inject node to our flow, and then rename it to Start. The inject node triggers the subsequent nodes. After that, add a subflow, rename it to LinkedIn Login. We will use the LinkedIn Login flow that was developed in the previous video. Copy and paste the flow into this subflow. You can find the link to this previous video in the description. The flow logs in with a LinkedIn cookie, eliminating the need for a username and password by solely using this cookie. It requires a LinkedIn cookie from a logged-in session. The cookie must be stored in a vault, as described in the previous video. We need to set the profile URL to navigate after logging into LinkedIn. Now this flow will first log in, then navigate to the profile URL. On the profile page, we now need to obtain the About text to use in our prompt for generating our icebreaker message. So for that, we need to find out the XPath of this text section. Right-click and click Inspect. This Chrome inspection tool helps us determine the correct XPath for this section. Social media sites use dynamic CSS selector classes, which makes it harder to use them in selectors. However, you can always target the text that remains unchanged. This is the best way to create a reliable XPath selector for your automation flows. Press Ctrl F and search for the About text. The search bar in the Chrome inspection tool is a perfect place to test our selectors. You can use raw text, an XPath, or a CSS selector for the search. We need to locate the About header by using an XPath wildcard search that matches the text About. This search yields 2 elements. However, these elements fall under the section we are targeting. The section includes the profile text that we aim to retrieve. The About header element is a child within this section, and XPath queries also allow you to target parent elements. We can ask ChatGPT to generate a valid XPath for us that utilizes this feature. Let's start our prompt by saying, "This is my XPath. This element is under a section element. I want to target this section parent from this XPath. So ChatGPT returned an XPath to our prompt. Let's now try this. Searching with this XPath returns 1 element and highlights the correct section. So this is a very good and reliable XPath. We are using the XPath's text feature to target this section. Now we can add this XPath to our getValue node. And let's add a debug node after it. We can now run the flow to test our progress. The LinkedIn page is opened. When we return to the designer, we can see the profile text that was retrieved and displayed in the debug output. We can proceed. We can now create the icebreaker message for our outreach email using the profile information scraped from the LinkedIn page. To accomplish this, we will use the Llama package to run the Llama 3 model locally with our prompt and create the icebreaker message. First, if the package is not already installed, install the Llama package. Then, drag and drop the pull model node into your flow. Place the pull model node after the start node. The pull model node will download the latest Llama 3 model from the Llama model repository, which we will refer to as Llama 3. It will then be downloaded to your machine, allowing the flow to use it afterward. You can also try other models later in your flows for different tasks. Then we need to add a connect node. This will create an Llama client context that we will use in other nodes. And then we can use the generate completion node to create our icebreaker message. This node will use the client ID that is returned from the connect node. But before that, we need to create our prompt. So let's add a function node before the generate completion node to create our prompt. We can rename our function node to prepare prompt to improve the flow's readability. The getValue node writes the output to the value property. Let's rename this to about and then start writing our prompt into the function node. You can use backtick operators that allow us to write multiple line strings in JavaScript. So let's say, write me a very concise icebreaker message for my outreach email campaign with the profile information below. Additionally, let's ask only to include the message and nothing else in the response. We only want the message to be returned. And let's use message about here. And then after saving, close the function editor. After that, let's go to the model field of the generate completion node. We will use the Llama 3 model downloaded by the pull model node. Then continue to the prompt field, select the message as the source, and write prompt here, since this is where we saved our prompt in the function node. To view the output of the generate completion node, we can use a message box node. We will add the message.response from the output of the generate completion node to the text field of the message box. For the title, we can use icebreaker. We will then place a stop node to end our flow. Now we can run our flow. The pull model node failed because it requires the client ID, which is the output of the connect node. Therefore, it appears that the node order is incorrect and we need to swap the order. Let's place the connect node before the pull model node so that it can insert the client ID value into the message object, which is then passed to the pull model node as required. Let's try it again. The pull model node is now checking if the given model name Llama 3 is the most current version downloaded. If it is not the latest or has not been previously downloaded, it will proceed to download. The flow is now logging into the LinkedIn page and will retrieve the profile info that we are going to use in our prompt. The dynamic prompt is being created with the profile info is now passed into the generate completion, and now the model is processing the prompt. The speed of this node's execution time depends on your machine. If only the CPU is used, it will take more time to complete the text generation. However, if you have a GPU on your local machine, Llama can utilize GPUs, allowing it to generate text much faster. Here is the Icebreaker message returned from the Llama 3 model that is running locally. The returned Icebreaker message contains text that includes additional information beyond the message itself. So, it seems that our instructions have not been followed very well. Additional text was included in the output beyond the message itself. However, you can adjust the prompt to achieve better results. Thank you for watching.